Hello, students, parents, and guardians. This is Mr. Morrell, principal at Sayusla Middle School, with an important update on our hybrid learning model of instruction. Today is February 25th, and today marks 350 days since we were shut down and put into comprehensive distance learning last spring in the 1920 school year. Since then, we have come a long ways. We've made a lot of changes. We've done a lot of stuff. We appreciate all of the hard work of the students and the parents and all of our teachers and aid and support staff, transportation, food service. Everybody has really been all hands on deck and pitched in to help make the best experience and learning experience for our kids as we could. So we have been watching the metrics, and the state metrics, the county positivity rate has been coming down over the last few weeks, and we anticipate that by March 8th, we should be able to have all 6th and 8th grade students returning to a hybrid instructional mode. All students will have the option to stay at home, of course, and continue in comprehensive distance learning as well, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So our Sayusla Middle School hybrid model. All right, our hybrid or in-person instruction model will be divided into 2 cohorts. Students will be at school in their cohort from 8:15 to 11:24. The A cohort will be in on Mondays and Tuesdays in the mornings, and the B cohort will be in Wednesdays and Thursdays in the mornings, and the remainder of the time will be distance learning. All hybrid students will attend virtually 1 through 4 from home on Fridays. I think it's really important to note that every student has the opportunity for contact with their teachers every single day. Of course, we're going to cancel limited in-person instruction next week, the week of March 1st, for staff training and to transition into our hybrid mode. Our Sayusla Middle School comprehensive distance learning students. These are the students that, for whatever reason, have chosen to stay home in a comprehensive distance learning model. There's lots of reasons for that, and we fully respect that and want to make sure that you have every opportunity that the students coming in a hybrid mode will have as well. So at this point, for staffing purposes, our 6th grade students who are in comprehensive distance learning only will attend classes virtually with their peers in the afternoons, and our 7th and 8th grade students that are in CDL only will have a self-contained virtual classroom. So how is this going to look? So our A group, when they come in, our classes are going to start at 8:15 in the morning. They'll come in person, either by drop-off, bicycle, scooter, skateboard, or bus. They'll come in and attend periods 1 through 4. At that point, they will be going home, and they'll have applied learning time. So they'll have teachers that they can check in with in the afternoon for applied learning time, but that's time to work on their assignments and their homework. There will not be necessarily a class that they have to log into for attendance. So in person, Monday morning, periods 1 to 4. Tuesday, they'll come for periods 6 to 9 in person, and the same thing in the afternoon, they'll attend virtually for applied learning time. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, the A students will be at home in the mornings working on their applied learning, so assignments or coursework that they've been assigned from their teachers, and attend Wednesday periods 1 to 4 virtually, and Thursday periods 6 to 9 virtually, and everybody will attend Friday virtually 1 to 4. Our B group is going to be the opposite. So in the afternoons, they'll attend their classes 1 to 4 on Monday, 6 to 9 on Tuesday, virtually in the afternoons, and in person 1 to 4 and 6 to 9 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's kind of a lot to take in. So I put an example, what does it look like for my student? What's an example if my student were in A cohort, what is their day going to look like? So Monday they come in and they'll go to math, science, language arts, and social studies, for example. They'll go home by whatever means they got to school in, most likely, and in the afternoon they've got that block of time to work on their coursework. There will be teachers available for them to check in with and get extra help on any of their assignments. On Tuesday, they'll have their afternoon block, which is advisory, exploratory, PE, and elective. So in this case, the student would have advisory, aspire, physical education, and art. At that time, they'll go home and have applied learning time in the afternoon. Wednesdays and Thursdays, they'll have that applied learning time in the morning and attend those same classes that they did Monday and Tuesday, but virtually. So they'll have contact with the teacher every day, whether that be in person or virtual. Friday is virtual classes for everyone, and the afternoons are for staff development and training, a little extra prep time for teachers because they've got a lot going on. I do want to make the distinction between applied learning time and virtual. Applied learning time, like I mentioned, was for students to work on their homework or classwork that was assigned to them, and they'll have a teacher that they can check in with. It's not necessarily an attendance period. Virtual is that the student is logging into their Google Classroom and attending a live lesson with a teacher that's based on, it's tied to attendance, okay? So it's a live lesson, but it's online in their Google Classroom. Okay, so we're in our hybrid mode. What can students expect when they're on campus? So we're still finalizing some of our plans, but basically each grade level is going to have potentially their own entrance to come in. Students are going to have to wear face coverings. That's something that's just a part of our life right now, and we're going to have to get used to it along with our physical distancing. We're going to have stable cohorts to the extent possible. So a lot of those classes that we're going to have, especially the core group of classes, the classroom, the group of kids that the students start with in first period, they'll end with in fourth period. So they will travel together. We don't have much passing time between classes, only 3 minutes. For the most part, they're just going across the hall. So we're working out routines, and we'll have routines established for bathroom breaks and water breaks and that sort of thing. Students should be bringing their backpacks and learning materials with them to school each day, and they'll take them from class to class. We'll not be assigning lockers this year. There will be a grab and go breakfast. When students come in the doors in the morning, there will be something that they can, breakfast item or items that they can grab and take to their classroom and eat there. Of course, they'll have to wash their hands before they eat, remove their mask, eat, and then wash their hands again, and of course put their mask back on. Lunch will be available, again, as more of a grab and go sort of lunch as students either exit the building or exit the bus. Students should bring their own refillable water bottle. We have filling stations throughout the building, but the drinking fountains are closed off. So they should bring a water bottle with them, please. They should also bring their own learning materials, as much as they have that they can bring with them, that they don't have to share. Really reduces the amount of sanitation that we have to do at school. I've had a few questions about PE as well, so we are going to have PE to some extent, but students will not be dressing down. We will not be using locker rooms. So how can you help prepare your student for hybrid instruction? I think one thing would be to help prepare the learning materials in advance for your kid. Get the backpack ready, notebooks, paper, pens and pencils, a calculator, a ruler, maybe some colored pencils and glue stick, a fully charged Chromebook, please, and materials that they might need for their elective classes. The fully charged Chromebook is important because although we are learning that might not necessarily be focused around the Chromebook, it is still a useful tool in the classroom. I think it's a good idea to start your new routines as early as possible. Classes are starting earlier. We see a lot of kids on camera that are still in pajamas and a little bleary-eyed. So starting your new routines, maybe getting to bed a little bit earlier, getting a good night's sleep, and getting students up a little bit earlier and ready for school. All right. Please remind your students about mask wearing. Proper mask wearing needs to be over the nose, for example, and not under the nose or at the chin. Masks should be 3-ply, and we have extra masks if your student needs one. And again, working on physical distancing. As a reminder, our no cell phone policy still is in place. It's a district policy that applies to students at school. So when they walk in the building, that phone should be turned off and kept in their backpack, and they can of course turn it on again at the end of the day. So we want to keep students off of their cell phones to the extent possible. So what's next for Sayusla Middle School? Of course, we've canceled our limited in-person instruction for next week. We are working diligently as fast as we can to create new schedules for students and implement those in the master schedule. There's a lot of moving parts in our student information system, and those are being developed as quickly as we can. Those should be available in Parent View and Student View as they become available, and that should be ready early next week. Student drop-off and pick-up instructions will also be communicated next week. We want to finalize some plans on how that will look, and we'll send out some information about student pick-up and drop-off. And, again, I think it's important to stress that all students will attend school each day, either in person or virtually. And students who are in comprehensive distance learning, again, they'll have contact with their teachers each day. We are really looking forward to having students back in the building in a hybrid mode. It really has been a lot of work to get students and get our school ready for this. We're really looking forward to it. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. The best way is to email myself or my assistant principal, Mr. Green. Our emails are found on the website. As well as our phone numbers. And so if you have any questions or need clarification on anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing our kids in the hallways.